Welcome to the Leftover Culture Christmas Spectacular. Every year I try and put together a fun Christmas episode, even though I am literally cooking from the inside out in the Australian heat. It is hot here, but I do love taking this opportunity to talk about Christmas. It's one of my favorite times of the year, and just indulge myself in some really classic Christmas media, the snow, the old villages, the American cities. I love that Christmas media that reminds me of cold, especially here in Australia where it's hot and you constantly feel like you might die. So last year I was really excited to check out some really cool Christmas items like the Christmas Sega Saturn. I can't recommend having a Sega Saturn enough. I love this system. It is incredibly nostalgic for me. Then the Christmas edition just looks really cool, even though, as I discovered, it's just a cardboard sleeve with a Sega Saturn regular box inside. If you are thinking about a Sega Saturn, I definitely recommend picking one up for yourself, especially a Japanese one. They are a lot cheaper, and the games that you can get for the Japanese Sega Saturns are incredible, and there are so many playable titles. So if that's something that's been on your wish list for a while, don't hesitate. It's an incredible system. And the Christmas edition Sega Saturn came with a special present, Christmas Nights into Dreams. Now, when I'm talking about classic Christmas media, this game is like a retro punch of Christmas fun to the gut. It is an incredible Christmas experience that I have reviewed twice already on this channel. I'm not going to put you through it again. Suffice it to say, it's Christmassy. It's everything I want. It's blocky, it's old school, there's snow, there's unlockables. It's a lot of fun, especially for a pack-in demo disc. But for any young Chris Bruiser type opening up a Sega Saturn on Christmas morning, there's gotta be something else, right? Like, you're stuck there with your family, you've got this killer game system and a one-player game. You need something to entertain everybody. So, I got a couple other things last Christmas that I didn't really want to reveal on camera at that point, but the Sega Saturn Virtua Gun. So the Sega Saturn is like an arcade machine in your home. It's based off the Sega Titan arcade boards. You can get the same guns that you'd find in the arcades at home for your home system. And I've talked about how much I love the Sega Saturn guns because they feel great, they work well, the triggers are fun to pull. It feels like a real arcade experience at home. This is the Virtua Gun, the Japanese name. I think they were called like the Sega Saturn Stunner in the US and here in Australia. You don't get Virtua Cop with it, but if you are looking for a fun shooting game, Virtua Cop should be at the top of that list, of course, which is why instead of getting a fun game like Virtua Cop, I got a fun game like fun Mighty Hits. So this is Mighty Hits, a game that you probably won't be that excited to find buried, nestled under your tree. But look, it does make a fantastic game for this time of the year. Essentially, you're playing with these puppety toy things. It's non-violent, you're knocking targets, you are chasing bees, you are shooting toys. I'm not gonna say it's fun, but it's certainly non-violent, and it is a fantastic excuse to bust out your Sega Saturn light guns. I've already mentioned I love these light guns. They feel good. They feel like they're straight out of the arcade, but they're also incredibly simple to set up, providing you've got the CRT television. These things won't work on your LCDs or your flat screens. It has to be like an old school CRT television, and these guns just plug in and you can start shooting. So released in 1996, Mighty Hits isn't gonna blow anyone's socks off with its graphics, but it does remind me of a very similar, a very fun game over on the PlayStation, Point Blank. So Altron, the folks who made this game, Mighty Hits, they didn't just stop at ripping off Point Blank, they also made a Parappa the Rapper style game for Sega Saturn as well. Very interesting stuff. Definitely doesn't live up to the originals, but it is a little bit of fun. It's a unique, quirky title that you're not going to find anywhere else except here on the Sega Saturn. Like I said, I've got the Japanese Sega Saturn, I've got the Japanese version of Mighty Hits here, and the rules, the instructions are easy enough to follow. It's just a set of different mini games, and it's sometimes fun working out the rules for yourself as well. But there's also an English, UK, US version of Mighty Hits that was released if you really want to read those instructions. But hey, as far as Christmas games go, if you're not playing Christmas Nights into Dreams, at least this one is full of toys. Your main characters are all like puppets or dolls, and you're shooting other toys, and you're basically in this massive toy box playing out this shooting championship. It is incredibly unique, and it looks weird. It's a weird looking game, but it's a lot of fun to bust out at Christmas. I love pulling out some of those less likely, more unusual titles for Christmas. And when you've got to keep your baby cousin entertained who's, what, 4 or 5, and their parents don't want them playing violent games like actual good games like Virtua Cop, you could bust out something like this because it is 100% non-violent, Chris Bruiser's mum approved. There is no shooting other people, there is no blood, it's all just playing with toys. And you don't get many shooting games where it's non-violent. Another one that I could think of would be on the Sega Mega Drive using the Menacer 6-in-1 pack and cartridge. That was full of non-violent games where you shoot like vehicles or pictures or shooting a ball around. It was actually a very fun review. If you want to find out more about the Sega Menacer, then definitely check out some of those reviews that I've done. The game itself wasn't great, but the hardware itself was really cool to use. I have a real soft spot for these Sega light guns, and I really wanted to check out every light gun game available for the Sega Saturn, and this just happens to be one that I would particularly recommend torturing young family members with during the holiday season. Isn't that what it's all about? Sharing, caring, and shooting toys with your light gun. I enjoy it. I enjoy getting to shoot stuff, especially on Christmas. So thank you so much for watching. A massive Merry Christmas to all you guys for hanging in there, for watching the show throughout the year and just spending your Christmas with me now. It does mean a lot. I love this time of year, and I've done some cool Christmas episodes in the past. So if you are not ready to give up the Christmas spirit just yet, go back and check out a few of my older episodes. I have reviewed Nights into Dreams. I have looked at the system before. I've looked at Christmas games. I've looked at my favorite Christmas levels. I've looked at Die Hard Trilogy, and I've looked at a bunch of plug and play systems as well. I've had a lot of fun with my Christmas episodes, and I'd love for you to check them out, let me know what you think, and let me know what you think of this one as well. What are you looking forward to this Christmas? What's going to be sitting under your tree? Any retro goodies that you want to share with me? Yeah, let me know. I also wanted to mention that the Leftover Culture Review has its very own video game, Mall Madness. I've plugged this in a whole bunch of different episodes. It's basically like a Wolfenstein 3D style shooter where you get to shoot the bad guys, escape them all in one piece. Last year I created a Christmas version of that game, Mall Madness Christmas Rush. It is one level where you basically need to get your Santa photos printed, and you need to fight through a whole horde, a whole mall full of Christmas style bad guys, as well as the regular shoppers and security guards. It's intense, it's Christmassy, and it's available for free over on the leftoverculturereview.com. So if you wanted to check out Mall Madness Christmas Rush, please go ahead and do it. It's a little gift from me to you, totally free. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for spending your Christmas with me, and until next time for some more leftover culture, cheers.
Merry Christmas.